Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Even though I am much better this week, and you can even hear it compared to how I was last week, I still haven't done a whole lot of activity around the farm. Um, I can kind of just, walk to and from the shed and do like the basic stuff. But as soon as I start to elevate my heart rate in any way, I really do start to feel it. It feels really tight in my chest. So I just need to pull it back and just take it really easy because I want to make sure that I do recover properly. So it still has been a reasonably quiet week. What I have done is I have pulled down the temporary shelter that I had set up in the shed grass area for the sheep. When I had them in there, Hurley managed to trip over it at some point because it's loosened off, and I thought they don't really need it now. So I've pulled that down, and I've actually now moved them back into just the regular paddock because they have eaten down the grass quite a lot in the shed area, which is great. So it's kept it nice and neat and tidy. And now it can regrow, and I am back to giving them hay each day, which I can do now without too much exertion. I do want to do a lot of work out here in the shed garden. I need to spray weeds on the path. I need to do some more planting of trees and some weeding in the area that is mulched and in the garden beds. But I'm not quite up to that yet. So hopefully by early next week, I should sort of have that feeling that I can do a little bit without feeling too exhausted afterwards. This past week, my dog Wade, who you would have seen many times if you've watched this video for any length of time, he's 16 now, so he's getting quite old. He started to have more mobility trouble. So a while ago, I made a ramp for him to be able to get up onto the bed, and that's been working great. So that has alleviated problems of him jumping on and off the bed, which was really straining his joints. But just this past week or so, he started to struggle to even jump out of the doggy door, especially at night. His vision's not great now too, so I don't think he can really see much at all at night time, so he kind of needs to have the light on. And he is now really struggling to get down the stairs into the back garden. He's able to get up pretty well, but just the getting down, I think it's the jolting, really hard pressure on his front legs that's just not great. He can do it, but he sort of is quite tentative and takes him quite a few tries before he gets down. So to try and help him and alleviate that and to make things as comfortable as possible, I have been getting up in the night and turning the light on and opening the door and letting him out, and then either putting him on the lead and walking him down the ramp and going out into the grass at the front of my place, or lifting him up and down the stairs, and then he's able to get back up by himself. I want to be able to stop that for myself as well, so that he has a little bit more freedom, especially too if this starts to be an issue during the day as well. I can't be there all the time when he needs to go to the bathroom. So I cut a piece of AstroTurf and I've put that on the deck, and I'm hoping, and I know what they say, that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm hoping that he will start to use that to go to the bathroom, and then I can take him down onto the grass so that he can have a sniff and explore at other times. But that just if he needs to just go, he can go out and do that and have a spot without having to go down the stairs. He easily learnt how to use the ramp up onto the bed, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to use the AstroTurf situation as well. Fingers crossed that works, because I want to make it as comfortable and easy for him as possible. It's been a fairly regular, somewhat quiet week here business-wise. I've been packing orders and doing general admin kind of things. One of those admin things has been to put together a list of the stock that I'm going to be putting into the new shop in Dalesford that's part of the Tea Time Yarn Retreats, which is opening on the 6th of May. So as this goes live, it opened yesterday. So yeah, I'm putting together a list of my stock that's going to go into that shop, and then packing that ready to go up. I had intended to have taken a trip up last weekend or the weekend before to do that, but obviously not being well, that didn't end up happening, and I didn't get the time to actually put together the stock that was going to be in. So I'll be going up there next weekend. So from next weekend, my yarn will be in the Tea Time Yarn Retreats studio and workshop space. And coming up in the next little bit, I'll be also teaching some classes up there as well. So that's one of the things I've been doing this week. I haven't got back into dyeing yet, obviously because I haven't been all that well, but also I do have stock left over from the last lot of markets that I did. I did do a lot of dyeing pre-She's Crafty, so I do have stock. There are colorways though that I have made a list of that I absolutely need to restock. So in the next few weeks, I'll probably get back into dyeing a little bit. I am investigating a new DK base at the moment, so I'm waiting for that to arrive. I'm also looking at maybe introducing another base as well. So there'll be some experimentation coming up too in terms of some dyeing. I am thinking about a possible new Christmas colorway. Yeah, I know it's May, but you've got to get these things done nice and early. So I'm thinking about that. So it's just been a nice chance now that I'm sort of back to being in a clear space of mind and able to move around, just to get things a little bit sorted out here in the shed and think towards sort of the second half of the year, I guess, in terms of markets. So my next market will be in Colac on the 10th of June, which is the all fibre and yarn market. And then the 11th of June as well in Lancefield. Before that, I'll be doing the Tea Time Yarn Retreat markets and teaching some classes at both Unwind and at Tea Time. So I'm still busy doing little pop-up things, but in terms of actual face-to-face markets that are open to the public, the 10th of June will be my next one. And all those details are on my website. There is a markets page, so you can find out all of the information about each of the events. This is kind of a creative crafts bit, but I'm going to put it in here rather than in the creative section because it is related to my business more, I guess. I've been doing some sampling for the brioche classes that I'm going to be running. I've been knitting brioche for quite a while and I know what I'm doing for myself, but I had to kind of translate it down onto paper for teaching the class and have some samples ready so that I could show what it looked like. So I've done quite a large piece which has lots of different increases and decreases on it in 2-color, just to sort of show the effect that you get and what different colors look like on each side. I've also got my gumball and teal cowl that I knit quite a while ago, and I have a shawl that I'll be showing as well in the class. And then I've written out my instructions and I did a sample based on those instructions. I hope it was on those instructions, literally going through step by step based on what I have written down to make sure that when I teach the class and I give this handout out, that it makes sense and that it's going to be correct. So here is my sample for the class so far. You can see I've done some garter at the start and then I've done a section of single colour brioche there. Then I've switched to just doing stockinette through there. Then I've introduced the 2-color. Then I've just changed into doing stockinette in what was the contrast color, and then I've switched to doing brioche in the like switching the main color and the contrast color around. And then I have added in some increases and decreases. You can probably see the increases and decreases more clearly in the yellow. So this will be my sample for the class, and this is kind of what will end up being knit over a class as well. I didn't think, I mean, you could probably turn this into a scarf if you liked, but I didn't think it was really useful to start doing a pattern because there is actually a lot to cover. You kind of need to cover in the class what the basics of the brioche is and how to read your knitting and see where you're at any one time so that you can make sure that you can continue on with the right patterning and to pick up mistakes early, because I think that's the best way with brioche to be able to deal with mistakes rather than try and actually drop down and fix something that's a long way down. You want to be able to see and understand what you're doing and fix it as soon as you can. So that's what I'll be going through in my classes. As you can see, I am wearing my finished calliope. After I showed it last week, I wove in the ends and it's been blocked, it's dried, and I've clipped all of the ends, so it's completely finished. I love how the yoke sits and it's really softened up and is sitting beautifully. I'm a little bit disappointed with how flared out the sleeves are. It's probably because I bound off all in knit, not in pattern. I probably should have done it in knit to purl one, which is what the ribbing was, but it's kind of all right because the sleeves sort of sit across the knuckles kind of. It's a bit hard to kind of, when I'm sitting down, it's sort of pulling up, but it sort of sits around there. So at that point, when you kind of hold on to the sleeves, it works really well. But when you kind of let go, they're a little bit flary. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to leave them like this, or if I perhaps, I don't know, rip it out and maybe bind off in pattern. But then I don't have enough yarn. This is literally all the yarn I have. So, or maybe I could put some elastic or something in and to just give it a little bit of a snug up. Not sure. If you've got an idea on how to fix the flared sleeves, maybe leave me a comment below and help me out to try and figure it out. But I do love how it fits. It's nice, square and blocky. It's really comfortable to wear. It's really light, even though it's a DK. It's not like a heavy feeling jumper. Sometimes I think DK jumpers for me can feel quite smothering and heavy, whereas this is really light fabric and feels really nice. So I'm very pleased. So finish this, and I did not work on any of my current whips. Instead, I've started something new. So last week I showed you the 52 weeks of easy knits, and I have decided to knit something out of that. So I have chosen the ankle. It is number 16 in the book, and it is an oversized yoke sweater. So, and it's fairly simple in its construction, and then it has ridges of purl stitches through it to create the patterning. Super simple. While I was at Unwind last weekend, I talked to Kate about starting the project, and she helped me choose, it's this Marisol Cisa yarn, and it's in the colorway Seaweed. And I have made so much progress on this thing. So I've split for the sleeves. I've already got a fair chunk of the body done, and it's looking really, really cool. So I have already had issues with the pattern though. So just in case you're using this book or have seen this pattern before, this is the second time I cast it on. The first time I cast on the smallest size, and I could fit it over my head, but it seemed super tight and definitely not how it looks in the pattern. It looks quite open in the pattern, but this was going to end up being like literally right up high around the neck. This one is now cast on for the second size, and I've gone up a needle size as well. And I've also now increased out a couple of extra increases before I split for the sleeves. I may regret doing that because I didn't read ahead in the pattern, but it gets you to cast on a lot of extra stitches in the underarm. But having looked at the picture, it does look like it's quite sort of bat wing at the start and then it comes in. So I kind of want that big oversized feel. So I'm going to go with it and see. I can always rip it out again, can't I? So I had knit all the way down to almost the sleeve split before I decided that I was going to rip it out and start a second time. But I'm really enjoying it. So it wasn't that big of a deal, and it actually didn't take that long to get it back. So you can see this has got much more open stretch in it now. I'm enjoying how the increases are looking. You can see them along that ribbing, how they're coming. They're the lifted increases, and they just work sequentially around, so you kind of end up having them line up next to each other when you do the next one. This yarn is like, it's a blown yarn, so it's like a chain ply blown yarn. And it's sort of green, but it's got blues and reds and pinks. It's really pretty. I'm not sure if it's going to pick up 100% on the camera, but there it is. So I'm making a lot of progress and really loving it. So that is my current project. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.